This is a System 80 driver board that was used across all the System 80 games. 80, 80A, 80B, it didn't change. They used this driver board until System 3 came out. Now this board is from a BoneBusters, and for whatever reason, lamp 36 shorted badly, and the damage went through Q37 on Gottlieb Games. Lamp N is QN plus 1, so Q37 had blown up really well, and then the resistor here at, I guess it's probably R37, had burnt itself up, you can see, really badly. So much so that I just relocated the resistor down here, drilled a couple holes and ran jumper wires to where they belong. And where they belong, or one end of it, goes to Z10. So I suspect Z10 is going to have a problem. So I have my meter set to diode check. Red on the lower left leg of the IC, which is ground, I believe. And then black on each successive legs. Now that 322 there, that is sort of like the personality voltage drop for this board. So between 5 volts and ground, it should be about 322 each time. Now these next legs, that's a short, but I can see that the trace is connected to this pin, so that's not a problem. Another one, again, that trace is connected to the lower left pin, so no big deal. So I'll go through these, and we're looking for voltages or readings that are between about 0.4 and about 0.7. Let me switch hands. And one thing you can do is, I might as well put this red lead on any of the lower left corners. You can see they're all connected. And we're going to go through the rest of these legs. Coming up on the one that I suspect is going to be a problem, and it's this one, which is connected to, oops, I'm on the wrong chip, sorry. Boy. All right, here's the leg. Here's the leg, sorry. This one is definitely shorted, so this 74175 is going to have to come out. The damage went all the way from the lamp socket through Q37, through R37, and then it destroyed this 74175. And here is the 74175 that I removed. I'm going to shade this a little bit so you can see the error code. It's saying ERR. This is my Chinese chip tester, and so it's always good to have things verified. That chip tester will tell you if a chip is bad. It will not tell you if a chip is good, i.e. it may pass the test, but it may still be bad. So I put in a socket. I always put in a socket, and we're ready to test this driver board now. And here we have the BoneBusters MPU and driver board in my RoboWar, and the driver board works flawlessly now since I replaced the resistor, the MPSA 13, and the 74175. Now I'm working on an issue where the client indicates that background sounds or track mode sounds don't work on his BoneBuster. On BoneBusters Inc dip switch 7 that I've marked with a black Sharpie there, it needs to be on, and it is on clearly, but the game's not seeing it. You can see it 00. That should be 02 in hexadecimal. So let's figure that out. So we have gotten to the bottom of the problem here, and you can see now dip switch 7, which shows up as 02, is working properly. Let me turn it off, and then I'll press the credit button to rerun the dip switch test. And now I will turn it back on and press the credit button again. And you can see that's working. So now with BoneBusters ROMs in here, it will properly read the dip switch, and it should provide the background sounds or track modes. I forget which was missing. So the root cause of the problem was Z13, which is a 7400, and it's marked with gold. So what I did was, this is a little complicated, so I couldn't show you in real time, but Z13 is a 7400, which is a NAND gate, and pins, let's see, 8 and 9 NAND to 10. Do I have that right? No, 9 and 10 NAND to 8. So here is pin 10, and it's high, and pin 9 is high. So high and high is high, and not that is low. So this should be low, which it is. Now when I probed this before, there was no signal here on pin 9. So I backtracked through and made sure everything was correct here. Here's a pull-up resistor. There's signal there. Now, it indicated no signal, but it was probably just a signal that was not readable with a logic probe, because the logic probe is designed to read above 4.2 volts maybe and below 1 volt for a low. Now here's where the circuitry is. This is Z13 7400, and dip switch 9, I'm sorry, dip switch 7 comes into pin 10 of the 7400 NAND gate, and 9 is the row input for that NAND gate. Now the really weird thing is that the switches worked in switch test. It just couldn't read this switch for whatever reason. I do not know why. Anyway, we have replaced the 7400, and she is good to go. So we should test both boards right now. Just one moment. We are booted up in my RoboWar with this BoneBusters MPU, which is an MPU that I worked on a long time ago. The BoneBusters ROM on it has got my label maker on there, and that's my super cap that I put on there a long time ago. Well, let's check out the lamps. This is the easiest way on an ADA to make sure that all the lamps are functioning, and they are. There is one lamp over here that's, what's that say, launch attack. That's mechanically driven. When the Stargate ramp goes up, that'll turn on. So let's put the game into test. I'm going to skip ahead to lamp test. It's not very useful, but we already checked to see that those lamps were working. Now let's listen to solenoid test. Whoops, I pressed the wrong button. Okay. You know, now that I think about it, while I was playing some RoboWar, some stuff wasn't working right. And I thought it was my game at first. Now I'm in switch test. I'm going to go through column 1, except for 07. I've played so many games of RoboWar. When there's anything that's remotely off the curve, I can identify it. You know, if it makes an odd sound or something like that. Let me try switch 77. So all the switches in the switch matrix are working. Dip switch is 02840763. So there's 02840763. Correct. Takes me back to my hexadecimal assembly language programming days. Display test. Good to go. In the ROM test, it should be memory okay and 1D, or Delta Charlie Alpha. That is correct for the RoboWar. So this MPU and board set are good to go. The last thing I'll do is put the BoneBusters ROMs back in and make sure that they boot correctly. That is after I play a little more RoboWar. Thank you for sending the boards.